All right, how's it going? This is a little bit of 100 NL action over on um, Global Poker. Getting on here, and then I will flat here with the pocket nines. Flop is set immediately. It's some run good right there. Here, multi-way, I think I'm going to bet small. We go over this hand later if something interesting happens, but for now, I think versus a small bet, yeah, I think I'm gonna raise and use this normal size, and then here we will bet pot versus a weaker player. It looks like I just fold. All right, so it's a little bit of a hot start there. But yeah, today I made a deposit on Global again. I wanted to maybe play some tournaments or see how the cash games were again. And I'm playing 100. A little bit tough for me to get money, or like you can only deposit like 500 at a time. So right now I pretty much can't make any more deposits today, and I can only play some 100, which has been going, about even. So this is a sweepstakes site, so there's no HUDs or anything, and there's no like real tracking of your winnings. So the games are softer than they are on ACR for sure. But there are definitely some regs on here that are not bad, that are pretty good. So wanted to get in here and see what was going on, and maybe get into some interesting spots so that we could discuss them. I thought this would be a little bit better than playing 25, and although 25, it's easy to get into spots, it's easy to find some interesting things to talk about at 25 Blitz. Sorry, it's pretty much a rake trap, effectively. So I don't really feel like paying almost uncapped rake when I could just play 100 or 200, and it could just be I could be paying way less to the house. 3-betting here. And then I will open here. So queen 10 6 multi-way. So we got a weaker player in the small blind here. Here I'm going to open this hand, and I will call one versus this lead because I figure I'd flop trips, and this is a fold. Or I'd turn trips here versus check. Yeah, so I'm gonna use a 3/4 size. I don't think he slows down that much with a queen, but I'm gonna use this 3/4 size. I think sevens, fish are gonna have a hard time folding pocket sevens or pocket fives here, maybe pocket eights, and then obviously flush draw is always going to continue as well. Sort of just targeting hands, which is not always the best idea, but versus weaker players who have turned their hand face up, or turned like the strength of their range face up, I guess, it's probably good to start thinking about what you're trying to accomplish with your bet sizing. I would bet that they're not too concerned with, they're not looking at your bet and they're like, oh, I guess he's playing this size here. He might be tailoring, Recs are not necessarily thinking about too deeply about your overall strategy, or like what it might be, or even like what the action was on earlier streets all that much. So, um, yeah, it's best to read into their action and then tailor your strategy to whatever you're trying to accomplish. In my opinion, versus regs, that is like an absolutely horrible idea, and you will get smacked around. Versus good regs, I'm sure if you listen to Mark Boone, he'd tell you that you could do that versus regulars as well. But to be fair, he's playing against like 5-5 regulars at the Hustler Casino or whatever his vlog is doing. It's like he's playing against mid stakes live players, so they're typically not the strongest. This hand is going to mix, and on 36, I'm going to fold if he opens. So it's just a preemptive rule here. I don't have too many reads on the 100 NL pool just because I haven't really played too much 100 on this site. But I've just been making some tags on people that I see doing some peculiar things. And hopefully later this week I can get on 200 once the whatever charges on my card go through, and I can continue depositing. Or maybe I run it up at 100 and there's no need to deposit. That's ideally what happens. Pretty much yapping. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and attack this through big blind size. It's just it's too nice to just win this 4 big blinds. He'd need to defend quite a bit when he opens for this size. I studied a little bit when I was playing 25Z for like all of one day or 2 days. I studied a little bit of the raising 3x, because at lower stakes it makes a bit more sense to use this 3x strategy. I think the main reason being, let me see, I can get out a notepad. I think the main reason being you pay extremely high rake. So I'm just pulling this notepad up in case there's anything I want to jot down. But yeah, you pay extremely high rake, and you're trying to reach the rate cap. So at 25, I think it's 5% up to $3. So I mean, yeah, you need to. In a lot of situations, I don't think you'd be able to cap the rake, right? I have to double check on what the actual rake structure is, but right, you're getting in 100 big blinds. The pot's $50. You haven't capped the rake. It's the rake is still at $250. So I don't know. Maybe it's not even worth it. It's definitely not worth trying to grind that stake out and build your bankroll. I think there's probably I think it's just fun to play, but I wouldn't invest a lot of time. If you're new to poker, I wouldn't invest a lot of time into trying to crush 25Z. I would just. It's probably a better use of your time to study. So I'll put that down here so that if you're skipping around the video, you can see. So do not play 25Z. It's a rake trap. Better investment of time is working a job, right? Build a bankroll this way. So build your bankroll. And studying. So yeah, get better. Stronger. And play 100 plus when you can. Because the rake becomes more manageable at this stake, and onwards. Obviously you keep moving up, the rake becomes better and better. So that's my recommendation to anybody who is trying to play or just wants to play for fun. So definitely play 25Z for fun if you just enjoy playing the game, but I would not try and grind out like, you know, like a sick win rate at 25Z with the expectation of moving up rapidly in stakes. Here versus 2.5, I don't even know if I call this. I really I can't remember the size. I think I'm going to lean towards fold. That might be a mistake, but I don't know. And then here I can squeeze or I can call. I think I like call with this guy in here. Can definitely squeeze. This player, a little bit more incentive for him to bet with this fish in here. And yeah, I don't think there is anything I can do other than call. I can obviously check raise, but yeah, I think check raising is actually like viable, but I'm going to just call this time so I can turn two pair in a deceptive way and hopefully get my opponent to bet again on the turn. So then use this pot size. I think raising this becomes a little too thin. It would be a little bit greedy. So I'm going to call. And on the 9, he should be pretty careful with betting ace-x. I don't think he has many bluffs. When that's the case, I'm going to lead. Now, is this thing theoretically? Not so much. But should you be doing this when you don't anticipate your opponent bluffing very often? Yeah. And he's basically saying he has a hand like, I guess he has some 6-5. I block a lot of the value combos like ace-8. So I guess I don't, right, because I have the offsuit combos. And he uses the pot size on the turn. Yeah, I remember this being like a bit of a tighter player at 200. So I may go ahead and fold this. Right, I would prefer to block some of his value, like if I had a different combo of 8-7. I'm gonna not look at his notes right now. This green tag is just a reg tag, so. Yeah, whether or not that's that was okay, I'm really unsure. So I have to look that one up. It's definitely tighter ranges than usual. Yeah, I definitely. I think my combo, like, you know, it appears like I'm blocking value, but I'm actually not, because ace-8 offsuit and ace-7 offsuit are ace-7 offsuit is pure folding cutoff, and then ace-8 offsuit is a mix. So I'm actually not blocking that much value. And obviously he's repping very thin, but I don't have like, I have removal to like pocket 8s, which is a portion of his value range, but not like necessarily, you know, that big of a portion. And then here, check. So I feel pretty good about fold, actually, the more I think about it. And I'm going to check again. I'm hoping I'm up against, you know, pocket 5s or something. I mean, checks. I have the option. I mean, I don't think I would want to bluff with my hand. I'm just showing down versus ace queen. I'm showing down versus pocket 5s, pocket 6s, pocket 4s. And it looks like he had a 9-8. So that's fine. Here I'm going to open this hand, and this is going to be a fold even versus 2 big blinds. Flopping a gut shot. I'd want to mix this, but I'd mix it slightly less, mainly because like it has like a decent amount of equity and it cannot continue that comfortably versus a check raise. That being said, I don't anticipate being check raised all that often, but it's nice to mix this into the check as well, because your opponent is going to give you more information in the check line when you give them the option to probe turn. And then versus this size, I'm going to call because the implied odds of hitting an 8 are pretty high. The only thing is, like, on a spade, it's not that high. But I think there are definitely, like, certain cards that will improve my hand, like a 9, Jack, could give me the best hand. Single raise pot here. I would like to range bet versus fish, and then here I'm going to 3-bet my hand, and here I'm going to fold. I don't have I don't really care about having great removal versus, like, you know, a weaker player. I got this guy in the blinds here. I'm gonna fold this. It's kind of tricky, but like I basically have this. I'm getting cold 4-bet. A lot going on. Yeah, I have no reason this player. This is obviously a fold. I'm just curious as to what's going on with the villain here. Let me check how long this has been running. 17 minutes. We'll go a couple more minutes, and then I will call it a video. Then I will be mixing here, and on a low roll I'll call. Flop a very strong draw with the 10 of hearts. This hand I would not always raise, but I will definitely mix quite a bit of raise. And then versus like the minuscule 3-bet. I will continue with a call. Is that good or bad? I don't know. And then here I'm going to use a 3/4 size at some frequency. And at 75, I think that's pretty good. This board, I think he can do quite a bit of betting since it's rainbow and these positions are pretty tight. But my hand is definitely not going to fold with the backdoor potential, as well as top pair. Basically, like, you know, removal to most of his value range. This is already shitty. Like, my hand kind of doesn't enjoy facing this action, but I'm gonna call. I have an open ender, and intend on leading some rivers. This 2 pair is pretty good to lead. Here we'll call, and this is basically like, oh wow. All right. Yeah. So we'll do. Well, I'm gonna have to. I'm gonna have to remember to take a note of that hand. 9-6 offsuit. So yeah, that's good promotion for global there. That's some good promo for global, I'll be honest with you. And then here I'm gonna check. Hopefully I win versus a flush draw. That's close, but versus these fishy players, I mean, you never know. And then facing 5 big blinds. Yeah, I don't think I'm folding versus this size, just because fish can show up with too much like random stuff. Um, wow, that was an interesting one. I'm gonna go ahead and change this tag to an extremely fun player. This means loves to have fun. That's what that tag means. This I could bet or I can check. I think I prefer to check and then try and show down. I don't know how aggressively this player will stab, but I assume that they'll tend to be more passive with like air type hands. When they snap check, I feel pretty good about showing down ace eight, and I also feel pretty good about them like being generally pacified for the rest of the hand. And then versus this size, some removal to like bluff. I think I'm going to continue calling with my exact hand, basically not really blocking. Like I'm not so worried about 8-6 or 10-8 because those hands would deliberate betting on the flop, or honestly any hand that includes an 8. And then when he bets this size, I'm considering raising. I just don't know how much credit raising gets. I guess I'd prefer raise. Even though I think maybe he folded like an air ball there, but like in case he was doing something strange with like pocket fives, I'd prefer to raise. I didn't really have much time bank there to like work out like the exact like the combos that he'd be folding, but I would need him to fold quite a bit for the pot size. So I think that's sort of a suboptimal check raise size I used. However, my line might get some credit, and I might actually get the amount of fold equity I need. So I'm going to go ahead and sit out on a couple of these tables, or all of these tables, for the time being, and end the video. So I will sit out on the big blind, and the first table that I sit out on, I will go ahead and wrap up the video. So got some interesting spots there. It's definitely some fun, and yeah. Maybe this will be like an interesting last hand, who knows? Let's find out. Nope, doesn't look like it. Okay, so thank you for tuning in. I hope you guys will leave a comment and let me know what you think about some of the hands I played and what stakes you're playing, and honestly leave just about anything in the comment section. So I will see you next time. I'll probably be playing on global or maybe ACR. We will see. So yeah, thanks.